Let me know if it gets so you can't hear. I'll try to move.
Able to get our Zoom friends on this morning. Hello, Zoom. Hello, Zoom. So welcome, beloved. We come to spiritual community this morning with many hopes in our hearts. The hope for comfort, the hope of renewal, and the hope for good food to share with friends. In this time and place, may inspiration water our thirsty souls, but not as much as it. In this time and place, may comfort bud and blossom in the gardens of our hearts and bring us sweet relief. In this time and place, may renewal course through us. As electric as a surge of energy, as serene as a nourishing meal, as contagious as joy, and bring us vitality and rejuvenation. May our time together honor all the hopes we hold together. May our time together bless us with gifts of inspiration, comfort, and renewal. So at this time, I think the sound is pretty rough, but let's yell a big hello to our Zoom friends. Hello.
Hi.
So Dick,
Hi.
Lori, and Mike Cooper are there. Has anybody else joined us? Okay, that's a good group. So summer's the time for us to gather with family and friends and community. Gathering makes us aware of the wide variety of gifts that our family of origin and our family of choice share with us. Gifts come in many forms, shapes, and guises. This time of year, we're particularly aware of the incredible gifts of nature. And we do live in an absolutely gorgeous part of the country and of the world. So I love to walk in the park when the cherry trees are blooming. But so many kinds of beauty grow and blossom. So I think y'all have had the experience that every time you come here or a special place where you walk or hike or sit, each time offers unexpected gifts. And we're aware that there are many ways that bring beauty into our lives and how we offer beauty to others. One of my favorite stories actually has to do with the daffodil principle. Daffodils are my birth flower for March. And a few years ago, I learned about the daffodil principle as explained by Geraldine Edwards, and I'd like to share her understanding of this story. So she begins telling her story that her daughter kept pestering her to come visit and to see the daffodil. And she wanted to go, but time passed, and it was a 2-hour drive to her daughter's house, and she just put it off. And finally, she's tired of her daughter pestering her, so she said, "Okay, next Tuesday." Well, next Tuesday came, foggy, and she couldn't see very far, but she promised, so she drove the 2 hours in rain and fog. But she was so happy to get there because she heard her grandchildren's voices, and she said, "Forget the daffodils. I just want to enjoy y'all, and I don't want to drive another bit. I can't stand the driving fog again." But her daughter said, "It's okay, Mom. We're driving this all the time." Well, you're not going to get me back on the road. When it clears, I'm heading for home. And her daughter said, "Well, I was hoping you'd take me over to the garage to pick up my car." "Well, how far is it?" "Oh, just a few blocks." I heard that at West Virginia once. So my daughter said, "I'll drive. I'm used to this." So after several minutes I said, where are we going? This isn't the way to the garage. Oh, we're going to the garage. It's a long way past the daffodil. And she said, turn around. I'm not going there. It's all right, Mom. I promise. How many of us who were there to her dad? Her daughter said, you'll never forgive yourself if you miss this experience. So after that 20 minutes, they turned on a gravel road and there was a little church on one side of the road and they drove just a little bit more. And then there was a hand lettered sign that said Daffodil Garden. They all got out of the car and started down the path. As they turned the corner, she looked up and gasped. Before her was the most glorious sight. It was like a hillside and fields covered with daffodils that were in bloom. The flowers were planted in swirling patterns and breaking ribbons down the hill. It's in every color you can imagine. Salmon, lemon yellow, butter yellow, saffron. Each variety we planted in large groups. And it flowed like a river. There were 5 acres of blooming daffodils. Who did this? I asked my daughter. Just one woman who lived on the property. That's her home. It was a small, simple A-frame house, modestly sitting in all the glory. We walked up on the patio with a sign that said, answer to the questions I know you're asking. The first answer was simple, 50,000 bulbs. The second answer was one at a time by one woman, 2 hands, 2 feet, and 1 brain. The third answer was it began in 1958. And she said for her, that was a life-changing experience. She said, I thought about this woman I'd never met who decades before had begun one bulb at a time, year after year, an unknown woman who had brought such beauty into her world. And she created something that was inspiring to everyone who saw it. The principal of her daffodil garden taught one of the most important principles in celebration. That is, learning to move toward our goals and desires one step at a time. And we know from our own goals that sometimes it's a little baby step. And learning to love the good, what we are creating. Learning the use of accumulation of time. When we multiply tiny pieces of time with all the elements of daily effort, we'll find that we can achieve magnificent things also. We can change the world. It makes me sad, I said to my daughter. What might I have accomplished if I had thought of a wonderful goal decades ago and had worked away at it one bulb at a time through all those years? Just think what I might have achieved. She said her daughter summed up the message in her frank way. Start tomorrow. And she was right. It's so pointless to think of lost hours of yesterday as a way to make learning a lesson of celebration instead of cause for regret. The only thing we need to ask is, how can I be of use in the world today? There's so many chances and opportunities for us to give to one another. In our community, there's so many ways that we create community, whether it's helping with social time or being in leadership or gardening or running tech, Gary, or making a meal sign up over there. Or calling a member who's ill. The many things we do for each other may not look as beautiful as daffodils, but there are ways of showing how we care for each other and for our congregation. So this morning we want to stop for a moment to offer thanks to 3 people who have made this past year special. And what
So this past year in religious education, we've been learning all about the values that we hold dear in Judaism, and our young people have been learning about those from our wonderful child care teachers. And one of them is here with us today, Maisie, and her sister Lindley have just been amazing for us this year. And so this is Maisie's last Sunday with us, and Lindley was not able to be here today, but after this, we will be transitioning into something new. But this past year with Lindley and Maisie has been wonderful. Our kids have had so much fun. They have learned so much, and these two have been very patient, and it's just been a wonderful experience. So we want to take this opportunity for everybody to say thank you to them. And Nora and Polly have a little gift to give to Maisie. And we'll send Lindley home with Maisie. So Maisie will be here for a little while today to take the kids to the playground and just enjoy spending some time with them for her last Sunday. Thank you, Maisie. We really appreciate you.
Wonderful. And for the last year, our congregation has received an abundance of gifts from Betty Corbin, our fearless president, and her loyal support staff, Michael. Whether he wanted to be or not. So if the regular responsibilities weren't enough, she helped lead the renovation of the apartment. She volunteered and engineered many of us for projects, and she gave generously of her time and talent in so many ways. These simple and complex gifts have made a huge difference in the quality of our community life. So here is our card. Because, you know, Hallmark would not. No. So, Betty Corbin, with deep appreciation for your wisdom, kindness, and expertise as UUCL president, relationship builder, practical visionary, listening ear, check writer, rental agent, buildings and grounds poncho, kitchen helper, auction maven, paper recycler, service leader, soup provider, cleanup coordinator, greeter, problem solver, we, the members and friends of the UU Congregation of Lynchburg, thank you. And during our picnic, I will be around with Post-it, feature samples of a Post-it, and you fill out a Post-it. You can just write your name, or you might write a message, and then we're going to put them on the card for Betty to take home, and hopefully Michael might laminate it. It'll be fun. And Betty, a small gift of appreciation. Thank you all. I feel like Stacy is not here because with that list, he was just to clarify, a lot of those things were not officially president duties. They were things that I had from other roles in the congregation. And Stacy's wonderful. He will delegate. He will involve more of you.
Which means you're going to be working.
Well, a lot of people would. Unless you're brand new, and I know a couple of you who are, and or under maybe the age of 10. Everybody in this area and over there really did a lot this past year. I mean, frankly, the bottom wouldn't have been done of Unitarian House and wouldn't have been rented if it hadn't been for the front. I basically was writing checks and doing all the peripheral on that. So we had wonderful leadership. Importantly, we've done 450 jobs. So hard for her, the minister as well. So everybody, I mean, still can go up on the roof, the clean gutters, the tree falls, the stuff off of it, the ponds are unnecessary, back up to go. Smiley's new and she's running around like crazy trying to learn the job and Fergus at the same time. It's impossible to learn it. So thank you all. I can't name you all, and I'm remaking rather thank you notes. I went to garden instead. And I want to reinforce what Betty said, because none of those of us who've been working could have done it without everyone else. So it's really a symbol of the Daffodil Project, year in and year out, year after year. It's all of you and all of the people who came before who built our congregation and continue to nurture it. So the gifts of care and hard work and blisters and a couple of broken bones, it's all an important part of creating our congregation the way it is. So to celebrate and say thank you to each other, I invite everybody to stand on the outside and take hands. If you feel uncomfortable holding hands with someone, then just step back and put your hands on two people's shoulders, because we want everybody to go. And in spirit, we're going to include Bob and Kim, who are working hard, hard, because they're the experts. Grillers, yeah.
And we got Stacy and it looks like Kenan and maybe Andreas back there still setting up.
And chatting over the food, making sure it doesn't move.
I hear there's a big push on
Flaw this year.
So,
To say thank you to one another, and I'm gonna start this. Put your hand on your heart. Maybe your right hand on your heart. Right hand on your heart. And we're gonna say, from my heart to your heart.
My heart to your heart.
And let's go all the way to break.
No.
And if we get confused or lost, just keep the circle going. From my heart to your heart. From my heart to your heart. Let's do it one at a time. We're doing the other one. So let's start over again. Since I'm not the engineer of this congregation. Yeah. So let's start it one at a time. From my heart to your heart.
From my heart to your heart.
All right, we'll put it down, rest our arms.
My heart to your heart.
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 Heart to your heart.
My heart to your heart. My heart.
Heart to your heart.
My heart, your heart.
My heart to your heart.
My heart to your heart.
My heart to your heart. Your heart and your heart together.
From my heart to your heart.
From my heart to your heart.
My heart to your heart.
From my heart to your heart.
Together, and the food that will nourish our bodies and the friendships that will nourish our hearts. May we go forth to continue to nurture and build our beloved community. Go in peace.
And before you run away, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
The meals ministry. Can we say why the hymn is important?
Yeah, so I actually put it on the sheet, but yes, so Emily, for those of you that don't know, Emily records a song library for us for times that she can't be present. And this coming fall, she's gonna be absent a lot more than usual. So, by putting your hymn on here, she wants to spend her summer adding to our hymn library, so that we will have a variety of music to choose from while she's not here. So you'll find that sign up sheet on here. Just all you have to do, look through the books. If there's a particular hymn that calls to you, just write it down on the paper and we'll make sure it gets on the list. And then next to that is our meals ministry. We're not asking you to join a committee, come to any meetings. We just want to know if you are willing to be contacted when someone among us needs a meal or something like that. And you can just put your name down on there to be contacted as a possibility. And then we would like to invite you to our Lego challenge at the back table and get a little taste of what our kids are going to be doing in religious education this summer. So there's several building challenges down there, and we look forward to seeing what all you can create. And then we have a games table as well. So if anybody else brought games, you can add them to that table. So now we'll go eat, but after that, there's lots of fun to be had under this pavilion.
Yes,
I'm
and
gonna
Fred,
add something fun that we brought to share. You can see Leah and Amy as models, but if anyone would like a piece of hair tinsel, the hair fairy can add that to your hair clip.
yeah. So, and Makana, thanks so much for creating this beautiful card. And if you want to add good wishes to Betty for this coming year, please do that during the picnic. There are lots of cute sticky notes. Go enjoy. Yay.